Sick. All right. He says we're recording. So we'll get started. Thank you all for coming. I know my reminder was a little bit late today. Dan actually reminded me to send the reminder, so I'll try to get those out a little bit earlier next time. But y'all made it, so good job. I know it's been crazy couple weeks, but I'll just kind of get into some quick logistics real quick and let Dan jump in because I have a couple comments. But the rules are posted to the drive. They're inside 2021. You can find that rules folder right there, and you can access the full rules. Make sure you read over them. And the NDA is posted at that link, and I also just put in the chat. I'm going to put in the chat one more time in case somebody joined after me. After I sent it the first time. But there it is. I'll put it on the Slack after this meeting. But I want you to download that NDA, fill it out, and then scan it back as a PDF or any document, actually, and just send it to this email address. What that's going to do is it's actually just going to save it to an attachment automatically to our Google Drive so that Dan and I have access to it anytime. So those are uploaded there. They're stored on the drive. That's the best way to do it. So that's the email address. These slides are always available after the meetings, actually even before the meetings on the drive. If you go into 2021, you can go into all teams and you can see the slides for the meeting. So you can either copy the link from there or copy the email address from there, or you can just get it now. But download that NDA from that link, fill it out, and send it to that email address right there, and it'll save automatically and will help use that to cross-reference who is being active on the Slack and who's being active on our Google Drive. Because obviously, if we have new rules on the Google Drive and 100 people on there, we're going to want to eliminate some people. So make sure you fill that out as soon as you can. I'm expecting to get all those in by the end of the day, so try to get it in tonight. And then one question I have for Dan, actually, before we continue is, where can people, if they miss a meeting, find recordings?
So on the YouTube channel, I haven't uploaded last week's because I was building a robot in 30 hours with Cole, so I didn't sleep and didn't do any homework either. So I'll be uploading both tonight's meeting and last week's this weekend on YouTube, and I'll send a link in the channel, in the Slack channel.
Okay, sweet. That sounds good. And that's basically all I had. Just the most important thing is the NDA. And as Dan had mentioned last week, purging the drive and the Slack will be coming up soon, so make sure you stay active. That's all I had, Dan, unless you have anything to add. Sick. Well, we'll just move on, and I think Cody is starting off. Go for it.
Yeah, so this week was mostly, for the drilling team, it was mostly just focused on introducing ourselves, getting comfortable with SolidWorks, and getting a gauge of what everyone's experience was. So I had most of the people just have a basic assignment of just catting a simple Archimedes screw, so people could find out how to get SolidWorks downloaded and get comfortable with just the UI and everything and how to work it. Then once Soiled is secured, which Dan will talk about later, we'll be getting started on testing, hopefully, of the cutter head designs that we've had. And Esther has found some useful information this week on some large-scale designs, which she'll talk about now. Next slide.
Yeah, hi. So basically what I've been searching was like materials used for the cutter head and sort of what is the most beneficial design that most companies use. And so on the material side, basically most of it is made out of steel, and then the cutting tools, it's a higher strength steel because they do wear off a lot. And then they have sort of dents of cemented carbide, which doesn't seem easy to make. And then basically they're so for sort of soft ground and mixed ground cut TBMs. They have two types of cutter heads. One is a spook cutter head, and then is the plate cutter head. So the spook one is the one in the white and blue, and those one basically what is beneficial about them is that it has a huge opening ratio, which is good because then you require less torque and thrust to move forward, and it does wear off much less the cutting tools, which is good because we are not going to be able to replace them while we're digging. So yes, and then there's also a problem with digging in soft soil, which is that the tunnel may collapse in front of us because it might not be stable. And then it's when those blade cutter heads are used, when the ground might be unstable, because then that provides sort of like face support to the tunnel, like as you're digging, and so it doesn't collapse on you tunnel, which would be very bad. And yeah, basically that's what is searched. And then also some different types of cutting tools that are like sort of like either scrapers or blades or things like that. But yes.
Good work. So what to expect for the coming weeks in the drilling team is I want to form subgroups. So we'll have for now just a research group, which will be focused on what Ezra's been doing, researching large scale cutters, material wise, how they work, and other analysis of them. And a design team for CADing the components that we need, and then testing and iterating small scale designs to have them already designed so we could just move them on to the large scale design using the research team's pointers. Next week, I want to have at least two, or not at least, but around two soil feed system options by the design team, which in the picture you can see is similar to what I'm expecting, of some kind of storage area for the soil iterated into the cutter head, which will have some kind of Archimedes screw system to be able to move the soil out the back from whatever being powered by whatever motor we choose. And then also I want to have a short presentation, which would just be more slides on the next all team meeting on full scale materials for cutter heads. So that'll be like a cost analysis, material strength analysis, just an initial update on it, because I'm not expecting all that to be completely done by next week. And then if you could fill out that when to meet, I'm going to try to think about maybe having a short like update Zoom meeting for the team, for the drilling team, every week, or maybe bi-weekly, of just like getting an update and making sure everyone has like all the information that's being passed around and everyone knows what everyone else is working on. And then once Dan gets that dirt, we're going to start testing. And so I have some basic procedures for the testing of how we're going to like down select. So there's some go no goes. Obviously, any breaking or damage we can't have. So if any cutter head is too weak of a design, then we can't use that. Or if too much of it's just being pushed rather than soil being excreted out the back of it as it's digging, we can't have that either. And then how we're going to down select from there is just the time to complete the hole that we're digging, and then what requires the least amount of like effort, as in like pushing the cutter into the soil. And yeah, we're also still taking more designs. So if anyone wants to practice CAD or wants to just do it for fun, if you want to make a cutter head, please do so if you want and send them.
Sweet. And then I was just going to say, if you need help getting a hold of that when to meet link, just remember that the slides are posted under 2021 on the Hyperloop drive, and then you can go to all teams, and then you'll see the slides there in case you need to get that when to meet link. Sweet. And looks like we're on to Rob, but let me refresh the slide real quick. There you go.
Can everyone hear me? So we're gonna have some more in-depth presentations next week on kind of three things that I've divided what we need to work on into. But for now, I just have some things I kind of want the whole team to be aware of. So as of now, the sensor suite that we're considering is a temperature sensor, moisture sensor, gyro, and then an accelerometer. So if anyone on either team throughout anything you're doing comes up with a sensor that you think will be needed to help monitor our boring machine, just let someone on my team know, and we will get that, try to work that into the sensor suite the best we can. I was reading through the rules, and we will have 480 volt AC power provided to us. And currently we're looking at converting that down to 24 volt DC. So to run anything like motors for the screw or the cutting head, that's what we're currently dealing with. If something else is needed, just let any of us know, and we'll try to work it into work it in there. And then also a big part of what seems to be a big part of the competition is our use of a GUI. So we'll need to design our own, and that's going to basically be our way to communicate with the boring machine while it's underground. So if there's anything you can think of that needs to be displayed other than kind of what we are getting from the sensor suite that we've currently thought of, anything beyond that, such as motor revs, any form of motor controls, just let us know. We want to just kind of get a general list down of what we'll need to have available to us that we can see while our machine is kind of away from us and pretty much out of contact. The only way we'll be able to control it is through this GUI. That's it for me. Thank you.
Sorry, I was muted again. But I was saying thanks, Rob, and I think the last person up is Dan.
Hey everybody. So I'm gonna first start off by asking for anybody's buckets or tarps that they don't mind me getting dirt in. I've got to fill up a back of a pickup truck with like 700 pounds of dirt, and some buckets would really help me do that because I'm gonna destroy my back otherwise. So I'm going to be picking up said dirt this Thursday, and if I can get a couple of people to help out, that would be amazing. Shooting for 9:45 a.m. at the construction site, and we're just going to fill up the back of the pickup truck and then just bring it back to my house, and that's kind of the end of the help that I'll need. So shoot me a message on Slack if you're able to do that. Shoot me a message if you have buckets or tarps that I can use, and I'm able to pick those up if you're stranded in a single location. So currently, work has been a little slow, and that makes sense. It's the beginning of the semester. However, when it comes to projects like this one that run for a long time, the work that you're currently doing is always the most important thing that you've done on the project to date, because all of our work is compounding. So these initial days, these initial weeks are extraordinarily important because the rest of our project is based on them. So it's about time to lock in. We're a couple of weeks into the semester now, so hopefully everybody's settled down and kind of understands their schedule and understands kind of how much time they need for everything besides Hyperloop, so they know how much they can exactly budget. But also working into that is knowing what you need to do. So in order to do something, you need to know what that is. And I think this is partly on me, and it's partly on just kind of the team structure as a whole, but we've just got to get better at kind of organizing what needs to happen week over week. So I've got this link that I'm going to post in the Slack right now. And this is going to help me and help the leads figure out what you exactly need from us each week to know what you need to do. So I'm going to toss that in general on the Slack. This is also an excellent time if anybody's in this meeting that isn't currently on Slack, send me a chat right now so that I can get you added. I can also put the link in the chat, which is probably helpful. So if people can just fill that out really quick, and then we can wrap it up.
Sorry about that slide switch. Still working on getting used to sharing a screen and trying to do other things.
All good.
Oh, I also forgot to mention, if anyone needs help with anything on SolidWorks, I might not be an expert, but if I can't help you like directly, I'm definitely good at able to like point you in the right direction of where to look or find tutorials or anything like that. So always ask for help if you need it.
Okay, and to add on to what Cody just said, is this comment right here. Always ask for help, because a stupid question is always better than a stupid answer. And what I'm trying to say there is that asking a question at the beginning of the week is way better than asking a question at the end of the week, because if you just need help clarifying a problem so that you're able to work on it effectively, that's a perfect thing to ask. So always ask for more clarification if you need it. And with that, if you're not done filling out the survey yet, just you can wrap that up on your own time. But thank you all for coming. Leads, just stick around for a second, Ahmed too, so we can kind of just discuss the week ahead and figuring out. Yes, Cole, it is not collecting emails, and that is a bridge to be crossed in the future. But we're going to figure out what's kind of on the agenda for the week ahead, and then get that trickled down to you guys so you're able to work on it. Great. Well, with that, that's the end of the whole team meeting. So thanks for coming, guys.